Hey, fabulous. Welcome to the Hope and Healing with Terry podcast. I'm your host, Terry Donahue. I'm a mental health professional who is certified in trauma informed care and crisis intervention. This is a space for women walking through healing while raising the next generation. We'll talk about real life issues like trauma, online dangers, and even family patterns, always with a dash of hope, a sprinkle of grace, and a touch of Jesus. I'm so glad you pressed play today. Let's get started. So today's topic is probably going to be a little bit different than most of our topics because I don't know, like many of you, I was pretty sad to see that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So it was really crazy. His family was there to see it, from what I understand. So I just cannot even imagine what that was like. But it also happened on a college campus where there's a lot of students and people from the community who saw that happen. And because it was shared so much on social media, I actually saw what happened also. It's one thing to see it on social media, it's another thing to have had to be there in person and actually see that. So, um, that's kind of what we're talking about today. Okay. So I feel like as I scrolled through after that happened, everything on my social media was all about, Charlie Kirk. And I know there are people who adore him and thought he was great and really loved him. I watched several of his videos. I didn't have any problems with him, but most people who actually watched the whole video understood that he was talking about love and not hate. Like he wanted everyone to have a voice, not just people you agree with, but everybody. So even the people that he didn't agree with, he let them have a voice also, and he talked to them. So I just I see it and it makes me think violence is all around us. So it's everywhere. We turn on the TV, we look on our phones, we scroll social media, all the places there's violence. And I know as parents we want to protect our children from that. And if you have children who are on social media, chances are they are seeing the same violence and things that you are. So just something to think about. So one of the things that I feel like as a society, as people, is that we can love each other without agreeing with everything, because you may not agree with everything I say, but that's okay, because it's very high chance that I don't agree with everything that you say. But that doesn't mean that we are supposed to hate one another or anything like that. We can still show each other grace and love. Like we don't all have to be on the same page of everything all the time. And there are people in my life who that very much applies to, because we can love people, but we do not have to agree with everything they say, everything they do, all the things like that. So I feel like Charlie Kirk left a legacy of love. He showed love through Jesus Christ. He showed love through debate with people. I feel like treated people with kindness, and he gave a voice to everybody. So even if you're watching any of his videos, even if he didn't agree with somebody, he gave them the chance, the opportunity to debate with him, to share why they felt that way. And then he used actual facts and history to prove his point. And of course, he asked them to prove their point as well. Because isn't that what a debate is? We all share our view and where we stand on whatever topic it is and listen to the other person. So it's supposed to be a rebuttal, right? So I hope, though, when my life is over, people will see that I left a legacy of love. I want to show people love. I want to be like Jesus. I don't want to be like this world. And that's hard. Okay. Anyone else like me, and you see that that is hard because we live in a world full of people who are going to, sorry, my nose, press our buttons and disagree with us and all the things. And, one of the things for me is I can be the kindest person ever, but then I start driving and I'm just going to be honest, people get on my nerves. They are either driving slow, below the speed limit, or they're just in no hurry. And I'm usually in a hurry. Whether I'm in a hurry or not, I I'm in a hurry. I want to go wherever I'm going. Like that's my point. I don't want to take a leisurely drive. So there are times that my son has to see me where I'm all calm and singing along with the radio and happy as can be, and then somebody cuts me off. And I'm not as happy and as I'm not as calm and I'm not as singing along with radio because I have to tell the person in front of me how stupid they are. I know it's not right, it's not good, but I also feel like I'm probably not the only person, right? Now, I will say when I've cut somebody off, I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I apologize. Like, they even know that I did that. But if you're going to get mad like I do, I feel like you should apologize when you make the same mistakes because I was reading a book by Bob Goff. He's funny, y'all. I was reading a book by him. Wait, no, I don't think it was him. It may have been him. I don't know. Anyway, but I was reading a book and it was talking about people getting mad about something and then you're doing the same thing. Like the same thing that you're getting mad about people or mad at people for. And in the book, it used, and it might have been the book Unoffendable, because that was a really good book too, by the way. And it might have been that book, but it's basically talking about how you cut out in front of somebody in traffic and you get mad at them for doing it, but then you do the same thing. Because let's be real, I think most of us have at some point done that, right? So my son gets to see me on my best days. He gets to see me on my worst days. And I hope he sees more good days than bad. And I hope through most of my days, he can see the love of God through my actions more than he doesn't. Um, I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that is my hope. That is what I want. Um, God calls us to show mercy and to walk humbly with Him. And I don't know about you, but I don't always do that. But that is a goal. That is something to work towards and try to do. So, today, as I saw a lot about Charlie Kirk, I saw a very little about, I guess technically it wasn't today. When I wrote this, it was today. But I also saw on the same day, so this was September 10th, there was a school shooting in Colorado, and I believe two students were killed. I didn't see very much about that. And I'm sure you probably didn't either, unless you're in Colorado, and then it probably showed a lot, right? But I also saw where a young girl, and I don't remember where she was at, either South Carolina, North Carolina, I don't know, one of the Carolinas, and she was stabbed on a bus, and people just sat there and did nothing. And then they got off the bus like it was just a normal day. Like this happens all the time. It's no big deal. And this is somebody's life. Like somebody like was stabbed. I think she died, y'all. Um, and nobody did anything. And I don't want to live in a society where we don't do anything. I want to live in a society where we stand up for people, where we love people. I want my son to learn more from the Bible and from biblical perspective than from a worldly view of hate, because I feel like we see so much of that. And it's not everybody, but it's the people who are so vocal about it that we see. I left a group yesterday because somebody posted looking for a church. And I was like, okay, so I read it, and just the amount of hate that people had in the comments, I was like, I don't want to be a part of this group. So I left the group. And it was a business group. But I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to do business with people who act like that and who bash her and treat her poorly for asking a question that did not pertain to them. She merely asked for recommendations for a church. And I'm sorry, I didn't know we lived in a world where we could ask people about church. Like, I live in America where I'm free to go to church and I'm free to have speech. And Charlie Kirk, he talked about that freedom of speech. Like, we are free to say the things, but we are not free from the consequences of what we say. So there are people who are upset because people have lost jobs and everything else because of the hatefulness that they've shown regarding Charlie Kirk, like celebrating his death. Again, I don't care if you agree with him or not, or anybody for that matter, but when somebody's murdered, I don't understand celebrating that. I don't. Um, it's very interesting. Like he was a father, he was a husband. I mean, he was a normal person like the rest of us. It's not like he was a terrorist or something like that, right? So anyway, interesting. But again, that's all the kids are seeing right now is everything about Charlie Kirk. And so they're seeing the division caused by people who are mourning the loss and people who are celebrating the loss. And I don't know, I would rather be on the side of mourning a loss than celebrating somebody's death like that. That's just me. Again, doesn't matter if you agreed with him. I've seen tons of people who do not agree with him who are still like mourning the loss for his family because again, a man lost his wife. A guy who is married with two children She is a widow now, and he was 31 and left behind two small children. So that's sad for most of us, for people who actually have feelings, I would say, and empathy, and people who, I feel like sometimes we see so much violence around us that you don't value life. I think that. And I know sometimes there's a lot of studies that say that kids don't understand violence and stuff because of video games and TVs and movies and things like that. I'm sure that the things like that play a part in it, but also we're living in a life where people are recording, beating up people like it's good, like it's, okay, and sharing it. Or there have been videos of like violence, like rape and things like that, that people think that's okay, and I don't understand that. So I'm not sure I fully blame video games and TV and movies and things like that, but I do also think you should guard your kids from things like that. At least see what it is. Because I'm not saying my son does not see any of that stuff, because he does. And he plays video games where they kill people with guns, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't get that. Um, but he and also understands the difference between reality and what he's seeing on a screen. These are conversations that we have. Like, he plays this racing game where you can just drive off into the water, or you just get a wreck and you get a new car. Or one of them that he plays, Need for Speed Rivals or something, you'll just drive through like a gas station place and it just magically fixes your car. And I'm like, dude, real life does not work like that. Like, my son and I were in an accident last week. Somebody rear-ended us. Um, I didn't just drive through the next Quick Trip or whatever and get it fixed, or the next Bucky's, or whatever, and get it fixed. That's not how it works. And so, and he also got to see that when you're in an accident like that, there are consequences, because people do get hurt, because he and I both got a concussion from that accident. I don't know if the guy that hit us, I hope that he's fine. He was very nice. But I don't even know if he saw it coming, because I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like he was on his phone and didn't see that all the traffic stopped. Um, because it sure did not feel like he tried to stop. But anyway, the point of that is, video games, TV, those are not reality. Reality is the things that really happen. Okay. So, so those are conversations that I have with my son about things like that. So we live in a world where mental illness is at an all-time high. It is. Like, people are not getting the help that they need. Some are trying to get the help that they need, but I'm just going to say, I live in the state of Oklahoma, where education is not valued and mental health services are not valued based on what our politicians choose to do. And so I'm also going to speak on this. Okay, our school, I don't know what he's, education dude, Ryan Walters, I don't know what his title is. He required that all schools take a moment of silence at 12 o'clock today. Now, for Charlie Kirk, I'm not opposed to a moment of silence and anything like that, but I am opposed to forcing everybody to do it. Again, I mourn the loss of Charlie Kirk. I thought he was a good family man. I thought he stood for values. I feel like he stood up for God, things like that. But not everybody wants to take a moment of silence from him, especially you're talking about kids that may not even know who he is. Like, they may not know what's going on in the world. Like, I'm sorry, kindergartners, even fifth graders don't really know, probably. I wouldn't say all, but some of them are like living their life as a child, as they should be, because I believe in children should be innocent for as long as possible, right? Keep them away from all the things for as long as possible. But and then some schools are like, we've already taken a moment of silence, or they take a moment of silence every morning for kids to meditate or pray, or, whatever it is. So it's very interesting to me that a school thinks that they can just force that upon people. Now, I think it's great to make that time available for people who do want to take a moment of silence. But again, I don't understand the whole forcing them. That's just me. But I just I know this is kind of a weird topic for me to talk about, which granted I haven't had my podcast that long, so you don't even know what I really do talk about, but I do talk about trauma. And this is a trauma, especially for people who saw it happen. But also you look at considerations where there's a school shooting the same day. That is a trauma. Those kids had to live through it. There are children who are literally afraid to go to school because these mass shootings have happened so much. I feel like they've happened so much we don't always hear about them anymore. They're not always in the news. Granted, you might be like me and not watch the news, so maybe they are in the news and we just don't know. I'm going to be honest, most of my news comes from social media because I don't like the news. It's very depressing. Like they talk about horrible things, am I right? So anyway, but then we also had, the school shooting in Minnesota where they targeted Christian children. Like they targeted a Christian school, and the mass shooting happened while they were in mass. I'm not Catholic, but I believe mass be similar to like prayer, things like that. So, um, Charlie stood up for our freedom of speech. And I think that's something we should all stand up for, whether we agree with somebody else's speech or not, because I don't know, I want to live in a free world. Like I'm happy that we live in a free world. So I trust in God and I want to keep doing that because I feel like he's brought me and my family through a lot of things. And there's somebody close to me that I always talk about how I get through hard things. Like I lost my mom a year ago, and that was hard. But I fully believe in God and he has gotten me through that. I also have a very supportive husband and I'm so thankful for that. So I've never been by myself. I've never felt alone. Um, I had that, I had that support and that love, and I'm thankful for that. And I want everybody to have that same love, to feel that same feeling of peace and comfort when something bad happens. I see people all the time who go through hard things with their children, and I can tell the ones who are relying on God versus the ones who are not. And again, we get to have our own beliefs and stuff, but I'm thankful for the faith that I have. And I hope that I can help other people through that, through those hard times as well, by showing love and support and just the love of God. Just Jesus taught us love. That's my thought. So today I want to leave you through with my favorite verse. And I'm actually going to read it so I don't paraphrase it for you. I'm going to read it. But it is Philippians 4:6-7. Like this verse gets me through so much because we're to be thankful and take our petitions to God and know that He's hearing them. So I'm going to read the verse. So it's Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be, excuse me, let me try that again. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. I feel like when I start feeling anxious or afraid, this is what I do. I thank God for the things that I can thank God for, and I give Him my requests, and I trust that He's taking care of it. And I'm going to tell you, I know for many people that is hard because even I've had problems where I want to take that back. Whatever problem it is, whatever I hand into God, I want to take it back. I want to worry about it again. I want to be stressed out about it again. And then I have to give it to Him again. And that's okay. If you have to give it to Him 100 times, that's fine. You do what you need to do. Um, there's a thing where people think you can't be angry at God. You can absolutely be angry at God. You can talk to Him like that. He loves you no matter what. And so you can take that anger, you can take that hurt, and He's a big guy. He can handle that. He's God, right? He can handle that. So I just hope that I bring you a little bit of grace, a little bit of love, and that I use this platform for the glory of Christ Jesus. Okay. So thank you for listening today. I know it was a little unexpected, not my typical topic. I am still working on a topic for teens and porn. I know, super exciting stuff, right? But I am working on that, so I'll be back with that episode soon. Like it should be dropping soon. But before you jump back into your busy life, because I know we all have a very busy life. Sorry, my nose is bugging me today. But before you jump back into your busy life, I would love to see you pause. Just take a break, a moment of silence, if you will, and think of three things that you are thankful for today. Three things. It can be anything. Um, I've told people, even on your hardest days, if you can't think of anything, look outside. Like I have a window right here. Look outside, see the sunshine, see something. Go out in nature. Um, I know when I'm feeling super stressed and I just need a pause, I need a break. I walk outside and just feeling the sunshine, and I'm not even a summer person, y'all, but just feeling the sunshine or even the winter, seeing the snow, I love that. But it it kind of calms me and it brings me peace, and I hope that it will do the same for you. So, thank you for joining me today on the Hope and Healing with Terry podcast. I hope that you and your family are doing well, and I hope I see you again on the next episode. Have a great day. Bye.